This is the nicest bus stop I've seen. Well, there was, since I crossed them, other than the transit centers. This is the nicest. That's actually a pretty good schedule. Even on the off season, every 30 minutes. So what time is it? 6:54, so the bus should be here soon. Anyway, real quick here. So I just want to express how weird Ocean City is. Okay. So here's the thing about it. It's a nice park, by the way. Yeah. Yep. My days of riding those buses are ancient history, that's for sure. Anyway. So oh shoot, bus is here. Well, at least on the bright side, at least crap. Well, I guess I ain't getting my Ocean City Transit credit. So I decided to make this stupid video. God, I feel like an idiot. Well, I feel like a complete idiot. The next one isn't coming for 30 minutes. I can't wait that long. Okay, I guess I gotta hike it. Well, crap. Unless there's bus bunching going on. Anyway, I was trying to express how bloody weird Ocean City is. Well, I guess I'll have to get my Ocean City Transit credit another day. Anyway, so it's basically a giant road with over there with northbound lanes that way over by the beach and the southbound lanes here. So, and everything, so basically, like my hotel and everything, they're all on in this median of this gigantic strode that takes up nearly the entire city. It's really weird. It's really weird, and it doesn't make any sense, but there it is. Man, I feel like an idiot for missing that bus. If that's not the only bus I missed today, I'm totally screwed. So, I guess there's nothing left to do but hike on down to the old bus stop. Fortunately, I didn't get my Ocean City Transit credit, but I will be back someday to document the southern approach, so we'll try that. Anyway, I got the bus heading to Calvert Street. Should get there in plenty of time to catch the 9, which is actually a Delmarva transit bus, and I'll be very glad to be done with South Shore Transit. And it's time to say goodbye to Ocean City, Maryland. Not sure what all that foolishness out in the water is. Looks really weird, and I'd hate to fall into it, that's for sure. These trees look really beautiful. Redbuds, I think, even though they're more purple than red. There's several varieties of them have been bred since okay. And that is not my bus over there. That That is a shore transit bus, and I have some really good news I just got. I'm officially done with shore transit. My goodness, they need to get it together. But I don't know anything about this. I'm gonna get started with Delmarva Transit. Hopefully they're not. I really hope they're not. They're better than shore transit. On the bright side, Delmarva Transit did mark their buses. So that is a big help. So we're off to a better start with Delmarva Transit. I'm not sure how much it is. I think it's $3, but we'll find out. There we go. And goodbye, shore transit. I'm done with these guys. I don't know what the hell's wrong with shore transit, but they need to get it together. Okay. End rant now. The 10 showed up right on time at Calvert Street. In what would become a common problem for the day, people were blasting copyrighted music without headphones, and the drivers didn't seem to do anything about it. Therefore, I have to use voiceovers. The ride out of Salisbury was largely uneventful. The old minibus was quite bumpy, but it made its way. It still worked. So I was very worried about making my connection to the 9. As we left Salisbury, I noticed lots of old brick buildings. I tried to focus on the buildings instead of the 10-minute connection that I was very concerned about. As we passed down the main street in Salisbury, I saw we crossed the drawbridge. I finally got a good view of the bus crossing the drawbridge. There was some interesting industry, some fans that I'm not sure what they are used for. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments below. These lights took quite a while and didn't help my concern about the 10-minute connection. As I got closer to what Google Maps calls the Walmart eastbound transfer point, I crossed this enormous bumpy bridge over a vast marsh and river. There was a barge and these large power lines strung over the river and some industry next to it. It was a good little distraction from my concern about the 10-minute connection. As I hit solid ground, I saw something else interesting. A box on top of a steel pole for birds of prey to nest in to help boost the population. It was really nice to see people taking care of the local wildlife. After the bridge, the bus made a deviation to get fuel, but we were still on time. Walmart on the 9. This was the connection I was most worried about, but Delmarva Transit delivered it seamlessly. And the next connection I have an hour for, so I'm probably I gotta choose my words carefully. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm on track right now to actually make this work. It'd be pretty amazing if it did. Shortly after leaving Cambridge, the 9 crossed a massive, bumpy old bridge. Next to it was an even older bridge that looked like it had once been used for car traffic but had been repurposed for bikes and pedestrians. I'd really like to see this happen in more places. I'm not sure what river this is or what bridge I'm on, but as I crossed, I spotted an osprey, or some very large bird of prey anyway. You could say I didn't do my research, that I don't know what bridges and rivers I'm crossing are, but you've got to remember that I had no access to Google Maps in this challenge, so I had no way to look up these names. I was worried for a while that the bike and pedestrian bridge would be cut off somewhere in the middle, but it continued onward. I was feeling good about making my connection to the 3 to get across the bay. If this worked, then this bridge would look like a stick across a stream compared to the one that was coming up. Well, Delmarva Transit just lost a couple of points in my book. You could call it a nitpick, but they do not put a sign here for this bus stop. You'd think they'd have the sign here or something, or one of these other posts. No, it's unmarked. Which is just wonderful if you're trying to find the darn bus stop. So, if you're looking for the bus stop at the Cambridge Walmart, just go to where the propane tanks are at the fence for home and garden. But yeah, that's my only complaint with this Delmarva Transit. They've made all the connections, haven't dropped any trips. I'm kind of blown away by how smooth everything is going. You don't need to run for the buses over there. Those buses are just waiting. Apparently, one other slightly annoying thing, well, it's good, but it's also kind of annoying, is that the buses all come. Apparently, the locals say that the buses all come at once. We'll see what happens here in about 15 minutes. But yeah, overall, I'm still impressed with Delmarva Transit. They're not as good as Dart, but they're a lot smaller, so for what they are, I think they're doing pretty darn good. After some considerable bus bunching at the Easton Walmart, I was finally on my way. I had made the 4 to Rock Hall. I had almost 3 hours to make my next connection to the Queen Anne County rides Route 3 to Annapolis. It was really looking like I could make it. I didn't record much from the 4. It was a pretty boring ride through mostly the woods and some urban sprawl. But I was about to be in for a surprise. So, according to Google Maps, well, Delmarva Transit got me to the stop just in time. And so the bus is supposed to be, according to Google Maps, the bus is supposed to be here in about 2 minutes, but everybody I've talked to says this bus does not exist. I've been chasing a phantom this whole time. I've been chasing a phantom all day. I guess the proof is gonna be in the pudding here in the next couple of minutes. In 1 minute. We're gonna see here. 1 minute. Let's see what happens. Crossing those fingers. Breaking out the lucky Tibetan prayer beads that everybody that Google Maps somehow knows better than literally everybody. but everybody else. But like I say, those lucky, man, I don't think these lucky Tibetan prayer beads got my lucky Buddha here from Sri Lanka. I'm gonna need all the luck I can get here. Where the hell are my Tibetan prayer beads? Oh man, stamped them. Anyway, got my lucky. I don't think my lucky Tibetan prayer beads are that lucky. I'm gonna cross the fingers just for good measure. There we go. At 325. And we've got exactly nothing. Nothing. So I've been chasing a phantom this whole day. I cannot believe how badly Google Maps has screwed me on this one. I was just looking at the directions 10 minutes ago using their Wi-Fi in there, which they gave me the password. That's their prerogative. Anyway, so this is bloody ridiculous. And how in the world such a colossal foul-up happens is really beyond me. This is just bloody stupid. Bloody stupid. That I never would have gone this way if I had known what, if I had, if I'd had, it's alright, I got a contingency. Alright, if worst comes to worst, we don't really know how I'm gonna get across the, bay. We're still trying to figure that out. And if worst comes to worst, I'll ride Dart. I'll go back to Wilmington. Well, if worst comes to worst, I either go back to Wilmington, or I try the, well, no, I gotta go, screw this, screw the southern approach. I'm just gonna go back to Wilmington on Dart, get a hotel there, and then come back. I don't know. Yeah, but the bad part is, if I had done the western approach first, it would have worked. It would have worked beautifully. So, outbound, the western approach works. So we've got this, we finally tracked this bear to its den. We've got the, you can take the western approach inbound to Ocean City, and then the northern approach outbound if you're leaving. Of course, the northern approach works in either direction. The southern approach has a lot of problems that we'll go over in another update, but though it still works. It's the northern approach. But yeah, worst comes to worst, I just go back to the northern approach. But honestly, I think I'm close. I think having forward deployed to here, just like I did with the northern approach, I can now make the western approach work in the morning. I may have to pay for another hotel, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, I'm gonna go back inside and talk to these people now that I've made my update. Well, things went downhill in a hurry. Now here's the thing but here's the part that pisses me off. Oh, by the way, these people at the Kramer Center were super helpful in getting me out of the mess that this caused. We spent hours trying to figure this out. We had a wonderful conversation. It was really good, but here we are. But it doesn't change the fact that the meter is pegged out over here at totally screwed. So That is why, I guess you could argue it's not quite, it's just a millimeter off of totally screwed, because I have contingency. I now have booked a hotel in a nearby town, and I'm going to be able to get across the bay tomorrow. The 325 bus that they were talking about on Google Maps was a phantom bus that is, yeah, that was a phantom bus that hasn't run for a year and a half. So that is just really great that nobody reported that, and nobody thought to report that to that that bus no longer existed on Google Maps. And this is kind of an issue here that they're having, is that, you see, they got a grant to run the bus. Here's what happened. I found out, I did some digging. Well, that sounds bad, not really, but that's not exactly how it was. But anyway, we talked through it and we figured out what happened. The 325 bus used to run, indeed it did run for years, but then at Queen Anne's County got a grant to run their buses for free, but their buses, including the three. Well, but the grant wasn't enough to run all of the buses, so what do? They pulled the plug on the 325 run. Instead, the one at 206 is still running. The one at 2 is still running, but the Delmarva transit bus gets here at 206, so just in time to see. And I just don't understand. It makes no sense why that is not a planned connection. It is frankly stupid. And that this is not a planned connection. Because remember, I got here, this is not on me. I got here from Ocean City literally as fast as was possible. I actually got to Salisbury an hour ahead of schedule, and I still couldn't make the 2 o'clock bus. Now, I'm sorry, and remember, no glitches, I didn't miss any buses, or no trips were dropped along the way. Delmarva Transit did a fantastic job, okay, and yet, and I did my part making sure my tail was at every bus stop on time, and yet we still couldn't make this work. And I just think that's bloody sad. So hopefully, so they're going to remove the phantom trip. So the phantom bus will hopefully be removed from Google Maps soon. So I won't spend all day chasing phantoms. I kind of had a bad feeling about this route when I tried it. But like I say, if I had done the route as I wanted to, if I had done the western approach on the way in, the western approach works on the way in. If you take the 3 first across the Bay Bridge from Annapolis, from there you're good. You can get to Ocean City in a reasonable amount of time. Well, of course, assuming that Shore Transit doesn't drop your trip, which they're notorious for. They are a mess, by the way. Unfortunately, I can't blame this on them. They actually did leave Ocean City on time. So, overall, well, I've got a hotel. I've got a bus coming in about an hour. What time is it? Yeah, that's about right. In about an hour.
Tired of dealing with hidden fees, forced PayPal payments, rigid policies?
Yep. Well, yes, so I have a bus coming. There's a bus coming in an hour. I've got a hotel reservation booked. I've got a confirmation number. Took a first real bite out of that card. And it can only take a few more hits like this before I'm going to have no choice but to turn to my actual card. When I get on the Wi-Fi, I'll check the balance. It's going to be like 340. It's going to be like 310 or something. It was almost 80. It was $80 for that darn hotel. Okay, but anyway, I'm forward deployed so I can make the western. So I should be able to complete the western approach tomorrow, and then I have a hotel. Then I have to figure out what I'm going to do from there. So I might be visiting DC. Might be getting some more WMATA content or possibly GRTC content. I might fail the challenge because of this, but honestly, you know what? That doesn't matter. This is a fail that at this point that's kind of secondary. I've kind of proven my point. So you know what they say, like the kids used to say, you're not flying, you're falling with style. Well, there you have it. Something like that.